Yes, it is permissible to utilize 2/0 THHN conductors for a 200 amp load, provided you adhere to the guidelines outlined in Table B.310.7 of the National Electrical Code. This table specifically addresses the ampacity of conductors installed in underground ducts. However, compliance extends beyond simply selecting the appropriate wire gauge. Firstly, the conduit employed for housing the conductors must be of sufficient size to accommodate all 3 2/0 THHN conductors. The National Electrical Code provides tables that specify the maximum number of conductors permitted within various conduit sizes, taking into account conductor diameter and conduit fill limitations. Secondly, the installation must adhere to minimum burial depth requirements. In this instance, the conduit must be buried at a depth of at least 18 inches. This requirement is in place to protect the conductors from physical damage, such as that which may be caused by digging or other underground activities. Failure to maintain the minimum burial depth can compromise the integrity of the electrical system and pose a safety hazard. Thirdly, it is important to ensure that the installation complies with all other applicable requirements of the National Electrical Code. This includes, but is not limited to, proper grounding and bonding, overcurrent protection, and conductor identification. Attention to these details is critical to ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical installation. Let's delve into the specifics of conductor ampacity, conduit sizing, and burial depth to provide a more comprehensive understanding of the requirements for this type of installation. Conductor ampacity refers to the maximum amount of current that a conductor can carry continuously without exceeding its temperature rating. The ampacity of a conductor is determined by several factors, including the conductor material, size, insulation type, and installation conditions. Table 310.15 B16 of the National Electrical Code provides ampacity ratings for various types of conductors under different installation conditions. However, when conductors are installed in underground ducts, their ampacity may be affected by the thermal resistance of the surrounding soil. Table B.310.7 in the back of the codebook takes this into account and provides adjusted ampacity ratings for conductors installed in underground duct. In this case, 2/0 THHN conductors have a higher ampacity when installed in underground ducts compared to when they are installed in free air. This is because the soil helps to dissipate heat away from the conductors, allowing them to carry more current. Conduit sizing is another important consideration when installing conductors in underground ducts. The National Electrical Code specifies the maximum number of conductors that are permitted in various conduit sizes. This is to prevent overheating of the conductors and to ensure that they can be easily pulled into the conduit. Chapter 9, Table 1 of the National Electrical Code provides the dimensions of various types of conductors. Using these dimensions, along with the conduit fill limitations specified in Chapter 9, Table 4, you can determine the minimum conduit size required to accommodate the 3 2/0 THHN conductors. It is important to note that the conduit fill limitations vary depending on the type of conduit being used. For example, Schedule 40 polyvinyl chloride conduit has a different fill limitation than rigid metal conduit. Therefore, it is important to consult the appropriate table in the National Electrical Code to determine the correct conduit size. Burial depth is the final consideration when installing conductors in underground ducts. The National Electrical Code specifies the minimum burial depth for various types of underground wiring. This is to protect the conductors from physical damage, such as that which may be caused by digging or other underground activities. Table 300.5 of the National Electrical Code provides the minimum burial depths for various types of underground wiring. In general, conductors that are installed in rigid metal conduit or intermediate metal conduit must be buried at a depth of at least 6 inches. Conductors that are installed in Schedule 80 polyvinyl chloride conduit must be buried at a depth of at least 18 inches. And conductors that are installed in Schedule 40 polyvinyl chloride conduit must be buried at a depth of at least 24 inches. However, there are some exceptions to these general rules. For example, conductors that are installed under a building are not required to be buried at the minimum depth. Therefore, it is important to consult the appropriate table in the National Electrical Code to determine the correct burial depth for your specific installation. In summary, when installing 2/0 THHN conductors for a 200 amp load in underground ducts, it is important to consider conductor ampacity, conduit sizing, and burial depth. Table B.310.7 of the National Electrical Code provides adjusted ampacity ratings for conductors installed in underground ducts. Chapter 9 of the National Electrical Code specifies the maximum number of conductors that are permitted in various conduit sizes. And Table 300.5 of the National Electrical Code provides the minimum burial depths for various types of underground wiring. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your electrical installation is safe and compliant with the National Electrical Code. Let's elaborate further on the National Electrical Code references. NEC Table B.310.7 is specifically for determining allowable ampacities of insulated conductors rated up to and including 2000 volts, 150 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius dry and wet locations. This table applies to not more than 3 single insulated conductors or cable assemblies that are installed in raceways or cables directly buried in earth. The ampacity values listed in this table are based on specific conditions, including an ambient earth temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, a thermal resistance of 90 degrees Celsius times centimeters per watt, and a depth of 18 inches. If the actual installation conditions differ from these assumptions, adjustments to the ampacity values may be necessary. The NEC provides adjustment factors for ambient temperature and thermal resistance in Table 310.15b2 and Annex B, respectively. It's crucial to understand these adjustment factors to ensure accurate ampacity calculations. Conduit sizing is governed by NEC Chapter 9, which provides detailed tables and guidelines for determining the appropriate conduit size for various conductor combinations. Table 1 in Chapter 9 lists the dimensions of different conductor types, including THHN. These dimensions are essential for calculating the cross-sectional area of the conductors, which is used to determine the minimum conduit size. Table 4 in Chapter 9 specifies the allowable conduit fill percentages. The fill percentage represents the maximum proportion of the conduit's cross-sectional area that can be occupied by conductors. The NEC limits the fill percentage to prevent overheating and ensure ease of installation. For 3 or more conductors, the fill percentage is typically limited to 40%. When calculating the required conduit size, it's essential to consider all conductors within the conduit, including equipment grounding conductors and neutral conductors. Burial depth requirements are outlined in NEC Table 300.5, which specifies the minimum burial depth for various wiring methods and voltage levels. The table differentiates burial depths based on factors such as voltage, wiring method, and whether the wiring is located under a building or subject to vehicular traffic. For installations involving Schedule 40 polyvinyl chloride conduit, a minimum burial depth of 18 inches is typically required for residential branch circuits and feeders rated at 120 volts to 240 volts. However, the burial depth may need to be increased if the wiring is subject to vehicular traffic or if other specific conditions exist. It's important to consult Table 300.5 carefully to determine the appropriate burial depth for your specific installation. In addition to these code requirements, it's also essential to follow manufacturer's instructions for the installation of conductors, conduit, and other electrical equipment. Manufacturer's instructions often provide specific guidance on topics such as conductor pulling tension, conduit support spacing, and termination methods. Following these instructions can help to ensure a safe and reliable installation. Furthermore, it is imperative to consult with a qualified electrical inspector to ensure that your installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Electrical inspectors are trained to identify potential hazards and ensure that electrical work is performed safely and correctly. Obtaining an inspection can help to prevent costly mistakes and ensure the long-term reliability of your electrical system. Here's a summary of the key considerations when using 2/0 THHN conductors for a 200 amp underground service. Firstly, verify that the ampacity of the 2/0 THHN conductors meets or exceeds the 200 amp load requirement, taking into account the derating factors specified in NEC Table B.310.7. Secondly, select a conduit size that is large enough to accommodate the 3 2/0 THHN conductors, as well as any equipment grounding conductors or neutral conductors, while adhering to the conduit fill limitations specified in NEC Chapter 9. Thirdly, ensure that the conduit is buried at a depth of at least 18 inches, or deeper if required by NEC Table 300.5. Fourthly, follow manufacturer's instructions for the installation of conductors, conduit, and other electrical equipment. And fifthly, obtain an electrical inspection to verify compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. By carefully considering these factors, you can ensure a safe, reliable, and code-compliant electrical installation. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous, and it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. It is very important to remember that the NEC is updated regularly, typically every 3 years, and local jurisdictions may have amendments or additions to the code. Therefore, it is crucial to consult the latest edition of the NEC and any applicable local codes before beginning any electrical work. Moreover, some jurisdictions may require permits for electrical work, and it's essential to obtain the necessary permits before starting your project. Working without a permit can result in fines or other penalties. Beyond the specific requirements related to conductor ampacity, conduit sizing, and burial depth, there are several other important considerations to keep in mind when installing underground electrical services. Grounding and bonding are critical for ensuring electrical safety. The NEC requires that all electrical equipment be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trap overcurrent protective devices such as circuit breakers and fuses. Grounding electrodes, such as ground rods or ground plates, must be installed and connected to the electrical system. Bonding involves connecting all metal parts of the electrical system together to create a low impedance path for fault current. This helps to prevent voltage differences between metal parts, which can create a shock hazard. Overcurrent protection is another essential safety feature. Circuit breakers and fuses are designed to protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. These devices interrupt the flow of current when it exceeds a safe level, preventing damage to equipment and reducing the risk of fire. The size of the circuit breaker or fuse must be appropriate for the ampacity of the conductors it is protecting. Conductor identification is also important for safety and troubleshooting. The NEC requires that conductors be identified by color or other means to indicate their function. For example, the grounded neutral conductor is typically white or gray, and the equipment grounding conductor is typically green or bare. Proper conductor identification makes it easier to identify and correct problems in the electrical system. When installing underground electrical services, it's also important to protect the conductors from physical damage. This can be accomplished by using conduit, direct burial cables, or other approved wiring methods. The wiring method must be suitable for the environment in which it is installed. For example, direct burial cables must be designed to withstand the corrosive effects of soil and moisture. In addition to these technical considerations, there are also some practical considerations to keep in mind when installing underground electrical services. Planning the layout of the electrical service is important for ensuring that it is accessible and convenient. The location of the service entrance, meter, and other equipment should be carefully considered. Coordination with other utilities is also essential. Before digging, it's important to contact the local utility companies to locate any underground utilities in the area. This will help to prevent damage to buried cables, pipes, and other infrastructure. Proper backfilling is also important for protecting underground electrical services. The trench should be backfilled with soil that is free of rocks and other debris that could damage the conductors or conduit. The soil should be compacted to provide support for the wiring. Finally, it's important to document the location of underground electrical services. This can be done by creating a map or drawing that shows the location of the wiring, conduit, and other equipment. This documentation will be helpful for future maintenance and repairs. In conclusion, installing underground electrical services requires careful planning, attention to detail, and compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. By following the guidelines outlined in the NEC and consulting with qualified professionals, you can ensure a safe, reliable, and code-compliant installation.